It's been 5.5 months in the making. 3 whole versions have gone by since Camellya was teased to us back in 1.0, and in less than 2 weeks, it'll be finally time for her to drain us of our astrites completely. And it's safe to say that every pull or dollar spent with gameplay that looks like this will be worth it. Camellya, however, isn't the only thing coming in version 1.4, and while we've gotten teasers and dev notes indicating some of the new features across this patch, Kuro just came out with something even bigger, the version's official trailer. While this trailer's official release on YouTube means that we're probably not going to get a version livestream, when we break down all of the updates Kuro's going to make to the game, it might be fair to say that we needed one. There's a lot going on, with a lot more characters featured across the main story, and some of the details on all of these new features aren't completely clear. But if one thing's for certain, Kuro isn't lacking in creativity. Today, we'll be taking the time to break down everything new in version 1.4. As teased a couple of days earlier, this update's bringing with it exciting new forms of storytelling, many highly requested features and quality of life buffs, and of course, 2 very interesting characters. If Shorekeeper wasn't enough to take all of your astrite, it'll probably happen soon. As always, if you're enjoying this content, please hit that like and subscribe button. Version 1.4's trailer opens up with an ominous shot that most tenured players should be familiar with, the door to the depths of the Illusive Realm. And that little black cat we've seen in some of the prior versions of the game has finally grown up. Players miss the Illusive Realm across version 1.3, and with the teaser last week and this trailer's introduction, it's all but confirmed that we're going to have a fresh update for this game mode in 1.4, and it's going to be a huge story focus of the patch. The trailer then wastes no time at all, setting up some brief exposition with Lumi and her lack of dreams before diving into a breakdown of her background and a brief overview of her kit. Lumi is a frontline navigator for Lolo Logistics, the company serving all of Huang Long's package delivering needs. She's got a brand new character model that we haven't seen before, bigger than Yoo-Hoo and Encore, while still being shorter than the rest of the female cast. And her gameplay seems to be built around massive amounts of mobility and a big nuke on her Resonance Liberation. While her weapon type isn't immediately clear, she does have a visibly big sword in some of her animations, so Broadblades might have their first 4-star DPS character, which was something that the roster sorely needed. Kuro then immediately jumps to our next new Resonator, and this is one we've been looking forward to for over 5 months. We're given hints that Camellya is a little unstable, with voice lines indicating that she might be suffering from severe overclocking symptoms, or Wuwa's version of going crazy. The next scene appears to confirm that, yes, there is indeed something very wrong with her, but there's nothing at all wrong with her animations. Camellya's kit seems to be centered around incredibly acrobatic movements and dance moves, with her sword frequently transforming into a whip vine to damage enemies in a wide AoE, while her enhanced state seems to turn her into a full-on Beyblade. Her kit, at a first glance, seems to be very focused on maintaining field time to fully emphasize all of these crazy animations, and we haven't gotten a dedicated hypercarry since version 1.0 with Jian. This demo closes with a shot of her Resonance Liberation, and let's just say that this move is absolutely diabolical. I'm just gonna stop using words to describe this. Following these 2 character teasers, we then get an overview of the version's main story. The cast of characters we saw featured on the splash art seems to be trapped in some form of mental prison, where Rover will be able to witness some of their deepest personal struggles. All of these characters seem to be trapped together, and it's up to Rover to piece the story together along with the help of some of the Illusive Realm's residents to save the roster. This is a huge step away from the storytelling in prior versions like 1.3, where there was a huge emphasis on mainly Shorekeeper rather than a more varied cast. And seeing so much screen time for characters like Yinlin, who were released in version 1.0, shows that as the world and story expands, Kuro's methods of storytelling have expanded as well, and this version is shaping out to be a lot more different than anything else we've seen before. We then get a short preview of scenes from what looks like Camellya's story quest, featuring a younger version of her, and let's just say that we are not beating the Goonerbait allegations with this one. I am absolutely speechless. With all of the main story additions covered, Kuro started breaking down the other new additions. Alongside new characters like Camellya and Lumi, we've also gotten confirmation on Camellya's signature, Red Spring. While we unfortunately haven't received any official news on its stats or effect, these will come out soon, and I'll let you know if it's worth the pulls. Kuro follows up with more details on the version's events. When you see all of the new gameplay features here, you'll be wondering why they didn't have a livestream. Somnium Labyrinth is the first one up, and it's clear that this is the main event of version 1.4. There is a lot that this short preview told us, with footage of up to 6 different doors when entering the realm, a completely new snowy aesthetic that combines the feel of Mount Firmament and the portal doors of the Black Shores, and perhaps most importantly of all, dedicated character menus for every single featured character on the patch. It seems like there are customized story experiences for each of these characters, and looks like there's room for more expansions and more characters in the future. We also got a preview of the new Dream Link mechanic, spicing up combat even more. It's crazy how this company continues to innovate, even in combat, when it's something that they've already done so well. One of the big highlights from completing Somnium Labyrinth is something players have requested a lot, and that's weapon skins. While this one looks more like a children's toy rather than a weapon, it's great to see this feature in the game in the first place, especially just over 5 months into release. Even more when you consider that other games running for over 4 years still don't have this feature yet. We even have the ability to hide weapons on characters who don't actively use them, like Gauntlet or Rectifier users. This Somnium Labyrinth event isn't the only way the Illusive Realm is returning. It's also coming paired with a refresh of the traditional mode with plenty of new characters like Shorekeeper, Verena, and Encore, complete with new environments and level design, and a Phantom Echo for Inferno Rider and the invisible weapon skins as rewards. This patch looks like it'll be filled to the brim with content and replayability, but we've only covered 2 events. Next up is the classic login event featuring 5 standard and limited pulls, a highlight of every patch, followed by official news of Camellya's story quest. The next one is an exploration event featuring the Pioneer Association and Lolo Logistics, followed by another rerun of Tactical Simulacra, the boss rush event, and then a new combat event called Pincer Maneuver Warriors. The final event of the patch seems to be a management or sales-oriented event, which could be similar to what we've seen in version 1.2. But the fact of the matter is that we haven't gotten a huge number of details on how most of these events will work, so be on the lookout for more detailed notes from Kuro in their developer updates. Overall, this version is looking stacked when it comes to combat events and new features, and we haven't even talked about all of the fantastic quality of life also teased in the developer updates. It's clear that Kuro has heard many of our complaints, especially regarding the absence of the Illusive Realm, and its integration into this patch is absolutely unreal with how much they've added to the game. 1.4 is shaping up to be one of the best versions yet, for more than just the limited character releasing with it. As always, if you enjoyed this content, please hit that like and subscribe button. Peace out.